Okay, I'm going to dive into it here. I'm just going to be sharing a few thoughts of random wisdom that I have picked up during a 40-year career that has been uh, very much different in a lot of the steps along the way. I started out as a merchant seaman, sailing on merchant ships all over the world. Uh, that's an experience I wouldn't trade for anything. And I could spend a whole hour just telling sea stories online, but I'm not going to today. Uh, Worked for an import export company, worked for several banks in the area, helped start a bank consulting company, was a Series 7 stockbroker for a couple of years. I've done a little bit of everything. And one of the proudest things I've been associated with is SEC the last 7.5 years. When I started here, I had very little knowledge of community colleges or their mission. And I'm leaving SEC with a tremendous respect for what community colleges provide the community, the opportunities that are here. And I have a huge, immense respect for the people that work here. Uh, the instructors are top notch. And I think that SEC does a great job of delivering very high quality education. So I've been turned into a huge community college and SEC fan. With that, I'm going to jump into it. Some of my thoughts are have to do with startups. Some of them will just be random business thoughts. I think one of the biggest things I've seen when visiting with people that want to start businesses is the fact that they don't validate their idea. They come into my office and they're a sample of one, which is never a good idea. They come in, they think they've got a great idea, but they haven't tested the idea. They haven't tried to validate whether anybody else thinks it's a good idea. Um, and so they're just, in some cases, destined to fail. So a lot of times people will try to start a business based on their hobby that they're passionate about, and they don't stop to think that, hey, maybe not too many other people are passionate about this hobby. So you have to validate your idea, and there are a lot of tools and techniques that you can be used to do that. And if you need to do that, call Brooke here at the Entrepreneurship Center. Even after I leave, we're going to continue to provide services to our clients and our market area. And Brooke will be here. There'll be a new director in a few months. And we'll be here to provide help to anybody that wants to validate their idea. This has been mentioned at coffee before, but before you start, consider the end. What is your exit plan? You really should think about that from day one. I have a lot of people come in and they want to, they're disillusioned with big business. They've been laid off. They're tired of having their destiny in somebody else's hands. And so they just want to work for themselves. They want to create their own job and be their own boss. And there is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I try to get people to consider um, what it could be. For example, if you're just working for yourself uh, and it's retirement time, you've got nothing to sell. Whereas if you build a business and you have employees, you can probably build that business up to a point where you can sell to your employees when you exit or sell to someone else. So before you start, consider the end. Carefully research your startup costs and your existing savings. How long is your runway? And what I mean by runway is if you start your business and you've got $20,000 and you're burning $2,000 a month in overhead expenses, that means you've got 10 months to start generating revenue and turning a profit. So a lot of people start businesses without adequate savings in place. It really helps to have a significant other that maybe can pay the bills while you're starting your business, but you've got to definitely give that some thought right up front. Focus. There is a reason we call the focus suites the focus suites. It's been our experience that entrepreneurs see opportunity behind every stone, behind every tree, and they want to pursue those opportunities. But it is vital that you focus on your best idea, get that up and running, get the business going and working to the point where you can step away and then pursue other opportunities. I love this quote from Winston Churchill: "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." And that is so true. And we see it play out time and time again with the people we work with. My mentor, Roger Ludeman, taught me this. He had someone tell him early in his business career, if it looks good, it sells good. And as a long career in marketing, I can tell you that it pays to make sure that your printed materials, your office, your building, whatever, it all needs to look good. It builds your image. So please, before you send out emails or letters or postcards, have somebody else proofread them. Make sure there are no typos. Make sure everything looks good, because anything that looks sloppy will create an image for you that you don't want. So it's vital that your business cards look good. Virtually everything should present a good image and build your brand. Get comfortable meeting new people and speaking in public. I really wish that when I was in high school, I would have been smart enough to take a speech class. I look back and I really should have done that. I was so introverted for a long time, and I kid you not, on my wedding day, when I was getting married, I was scared to death. And it had nothing to do with who I was marrying. We're still married. We have a wonderful marriage. My wife means the world to me. So what should have been a very happy day, the best day of my life, I was terrified because I was going to have to get up in public in front of a bunch of people and repeat some vows. And I look back on that now, realizing how very silly I was, but I was horribly introverted and terrified of speaking in public. But my mentor saw potential in me early in my business career. He had the company pay for a Dale Carnegie course for me, which was of tremendous value to me. And I learned very quickly that the only way you get comfortable speaking in public is by speaking in public. And so if that's something you struggle with, and I know you're out there, work on it, practice on it, start it with small groups, start it here at Perk. We're a forgiving group, so speak to us first as your.
Huh.
Can anybody hear me now?
Yay, yeah. Steve's back.
Okay, thank you to Paul Lytle, my office mate next door, who let me use his headphones. So we're going to get through this, I promise. And this slide is particularly appropriate for right now. From the TV show Cheers, "Hey Norm, how's the world been treating you?" And Norm replies, "Like a baby treats a diaper." And that's certainly what's happened today. So the world is going to throw you curves. You're going to have issues. I was laid off 3 times during my career, and that's always a horrible feeling to all of a sudden be thrown out of work. But it really helps if you've got a backup plan. And so I always recommend that everybody have an operating plan B, something that you can immediately implement if the world throws you a curve. My doctor in her office has a poster, and the poster says, "Life is all about how you adjust to plan B." And I've had to adjust to plan B on a number of occasions, and just be prepared that you're going to have to do that. That's the bottom line. Nobody's life unfolds like a perfect daydream. It just doesn't happen that way. Life is full of surprises, some good, some bad, but always have a plan B ready to go. I even have one in writing where, okay, if something happens and I suddenly get thrown out of work, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call these 20 people first. I'm going to send these emails out. It really helps, and it gives you a lot of comfort knowing that you've got a plan in place just in case. In the beginning, and if you're a small business and you're starting out, I still maintain that you have to be the #1 salesperson in your company. If you don't have sales skills, acquire them or practice. Get a coach if you have to. But in the beginning, when it's probably just you, you better learn how to sell your products or services. Uh, you should be the most passionate. Nobody should be able to explain what you do better than you do. So practice it over and over, and you will get better, just like speaking in public. If you make a mistake, admit it quickly and propose a solution. When I worked at a large bank here in Lincoln, I was in charge of database marketing. And we came up with an idea one time. We wanted more CD deposits, more certificates of deposit. So we knew that if our customers had CDs with us, that they were likely to have CDs at other banks. So we pulled a mailing list, and that was my job, to pull the mailing list of current CD customers of the bank. And then we omitted people that had a CD renewing with us in the next 30 days. And then we sent out a postcard that says, hey, during the next 30 days, if you bring this postcard in, we're going to give you an interest rate bonus of 0.25%. And that way they would have to get the money from a different bank. We didn't want them taking our CDs that were renewing, and we didn't want to have to pay those extra if we were probably going to keep the money anyway. So it was a great plan. And we had seen it work a number of times where that offer was successful at pulling in outside money into the bank, except that on one mailing, I forgot to omit those people that had CDs renewing. So the result is that we had customers out there with CDs renewing at our bank that now had an offer in their hand for a bonus on those CD deposits. So that was a problem. And I could have not said anything to everybody and hoped that nobody noticed. But I didn't do it that way. I walked into my boss's office. I told him what happened. We sat down and talked about it a bit. And then he told me to forget about it and just remember to do it the next time. So by doing that, though, I showed him that I could be trusted, and that if I screwed up, that I would own it. And therefore our trust was just built to a higher level. So again, rarely do you get away with it if you make a mistake. So always get out in front of it, admit it quickly, and then try to come to the table with a solution or fix. I highly recommend it. The world we live in is very small, and because of the internet, it's getting smaller all the time. So I really stress to my kids in particular, don't burn bridges. My daughter's kind of hot-tempered, and seems like everywhere she works, she, after a few months, ends up thinking that management doesn't know what they're doing. I keep telling her, Lincoln is a small town. You can't afford to burn bridges. If you want to leave, leave, but do it the right way. And I think that's truer now than it's ever been. Share the credit with others. I think it's so important. Any success we've had here at the center the last 7.5 years isn't because of me. It's because of Brooke and Kat. Those two are rock stars. They're terrific. They have been wonderful ambassadors. And a lot of times, if we did something well or it worked, it was just because I was smart enough to let them do what they wanted to do. So share credit with others. I really am grateful to Brooke and Kat for all the hard work they've done while I've been here, and they've been a joy to work with. And wherever you go, share the credit. And I want to wrap up this technological nightmare by saying a few thank yous. I want to thank Southeast Community College for the opportunity they gave somebody in their mid-50s by hiring me. When you get tossed into unemployment in your mid-50s, that can be very scary. And so I'm deeply indebted to Southeast Community College for giving me the opportunity. It's been a joy to work here. I want to thank Brooke, Kat, and my boss, Amy Chesley. She's been a terrific boss and very supportive of the center. I want to thank Dr. Kathy Eitzman and the Business Administration Department, where I've been able to teach classes. And I want to thank Linda Hartman and Dr. Beth Deinert. As a new instructor, somebody that hadn't done it before, I've had lots of questions over the years, and those two in particular have always stepped up and helped me get going or answered my questions. And then lastly, I want to thank all you faithful coffee attendees. I've really enjoyed these coffees, and I'll continue to attend a lot of them in the future. So you will see me again, but I appreciate each and every one of you for attending, and I want to thank you. And until our paths cross again, I hope all of you stay well and that your businesses thrive. And that's me on the right getting with my college roommate with his fake gun to my head. So with that, are there any questions?
Well, thank you, Steve. You really have made a big impact in Lincoln and on the entrepreneurial community here. So thank you for all your work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those kind words.
Hey, Steve, I talked to your wife at church on Sunday, and so I know what you're going to be doing for the next 1 or 2 months. She said she has a wonderful honey-do list for you. So good luck with that.
Yeah, she does. She keeps it on the she keeps it on a computer so that she can sort it and slice it and dice it any way she wants. But yes, there is a long list.
But anyway, thanks very much for all you do, Steve.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with everyone.
All right. Well, with that, before something else happens to my computer again, thank you all again for being here. Very much appreciate it. Please let everybody know that the center is here to help them with their business aspirations. We will continue to operate next week. Brooke will be in charge, and she's very capable. So reach out to her if you have questions, or if you have coffee speakers perhaps that would like to join us. Next week's speaker again will be Tiffany Stoiber with Grow Nebraska. So hopefully we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.